Today, we got a 2018 L5P Duramax. This thing is in here on a super common issue that very often gets misdiagnosed. Ends up costing you a ton of money, when in all reality, could have went down to your local parts store, picked up the part for around 80 bucks and changed it in the driveway with a couple simple tools. As long as you got those things right there, more than likely you could fix this at your house and save thousands of dollars. Let's get into it. So for our 2018 L5P Duramax, we are getting a cylinder 5 injector or cylinder misfire code, injector imbalance code. And I'm about 99% sure it is not the injector. It is going to be this little pigtail right here. So let me show y'all how to get in this and replace it. These things just burn out a lot of times, or they'll just wiggle loose, connection will get all nasty. Kind of looks like that one. Yeah, looks a little burnt. This damn camera to focus. Yeah, if you look in there, you can see it's a little burnt. So, we'll get in here and replace this thing, and then it'll solve the problem. Let's do it. So that's the standard brand part number that you need. Pick this up at O'Reilly's. If you have a commercial account, it's like 70 bucks, 80 bucks, something like that. Without a commercial account, it's only like $137. Which sure as heck beats the price of an injector, plus labor to get it replaced. Plus, if you go to a dealership, 99% of the time, they'll try to talk you into replacing that entire bank if you have one bad injector. They send everything that you need, minus tools in here. They do make it about 18 foot long if you want to be the guy that fights it and replaces it in the loom, tracks down all the wire, blah, blah, blah. I'm not that guy. I cut it short, get my crimps on there, heat shrink them, and then I'll get in there, cut that old pigtail out, splice this one in, heat shrink it without burning the truck to the ground, and we'll be up and rolling in this thing. Having troubles trying to find somewhere to put the gimbal and the other phone to film, to get everything on time lapse. Essentially, what you need to do, I do not have time to pull this charge pipe or that fender liner. I got 2 jobs waiting. But you're gonna come in here. If you have time to pull your charge pipe off, pull your charge pipe off, or pull your fender liner out. You pull the fender liner, it's pretty easy to get to. What you want to do, come in here, cut that loom. You can cut it somewhere in here. You don't want to cut it too short, because then you'll be fighting all this, which I do not enjoy doing. So I'll probably cut it about right there, and strip all this tape back, splice a new one in, heat shrink it, plug it up, call it good. I'll show y'all the final product. So here's that factory pigtail out. You want to be sure whenever you wire your new one in that you're wiring it up the right way. Base it off the clip. You got your purple with blue line on the right from behind the plug, and you got purple with white on the left from behind the plug. So whenever you go to wire it in there, I did end up shortening this a little bit more. I still got to heat shrink it, but I just want to make sure that I go with purple blue on the right, purple white on the left, with the plug facing up. Just something to note. I've heard it doesn't matter. I've never tried it. I've never had the cojones to do so, and I'm not going to try today. So I'm going to wire it up the way it was wired up when I pulled it apart. So look down in there, you can see that purple's on the right, that white's on the left. I'll take my new one, put it in there, slip over, and crimp. Oh Lord, I don't know which camera that just switched to, but it's ugly. Anyway, I'll slip it in there. Remember, plug facing up, blue on the right, white on the left. Crimp, heat shrink, plug in, good to go. All right, so you can see new pigtail spliced in there. I got to re-loom this little section. I like to go down to the parts store, get some new loom. I'm out of the braided kind. I don't really like using the plastic, especially not on injectors. That's right there around all kind of hot stuff. There's a reason they don't put it on there from the factory. So I'm not gonna put it on either. Let's get it fired up, see how it sounds. I did find a coolant leak on it that I have to fix, but my worry at the moment is make sure I do not have a bad injector. Yeah, definitely sounds a lot healthier. So, if y'all are having an issue with the miscontribution or an injector imbalance, y'all try the pigtail first. If you have a little cheap scanner, you can figure out which injector it is giving you trouble. Should tell you in the code. Should say, depending on what kind of scanner you have, it should say misfire on cylinder whatever, or injector imbalance cylinder whatever. Yeah, that's enough joking around with the cinematic camera roll. There's two things that me and this truck got in common. We're both ugly as hell and there ain't nothing we can do about it, so gotta do what we gotta do. But we're in it. We're going to take it for a test drive now, make sure everything's good, and then we'll catch y'all in a minute. And bippity boppity bap, that injector harness took a crap. So we replaced that pigtail and it fixed our truck. And it could fix yours too. So stop what you're doing before you schedule an appointment or get your truck sent over to your local shop or your local dealership. Hit the brakes, go down to O'Reilly's or whatever local parts store. If you have an O'Reilly's near you, there's that part number yet again. It's the injector pigtail. You can replace it in your driveway, even if you are not a mechanic. It is pretty simple. All you need is a T15. You can take the 69 screws that GM put in these felt fender liners, pop all of them out, take the fender liner out, your injector harness will be right there. You pop. The easy way is to do it like this. Take the fender liner out, all that, yada yada. Unplug each injector, confirm which one is your issue, whether you got to put a little piece of paint on it or something. Pop all of them off, pop the little tabs out of the valve cover, pull the harness out here, get your damaged pigtail, cut it off, clean it up, strip it, put the new one on, cut the new one to the right length. You do not want 10 miles of wire sticking out everywhere and all that, so cut it down, make it look nice, clean, crimp it, heat shrink it out here so you ain't burning your truck to the ground. You ain't gonna call your insurance, tell them you got a pile of ashes in the driveway you need to make a claim on. Put it all in there, plug it up. Before you put your fender liner and everything back in, get all the injectors plugged back up, turn your truck on, crank it up, clear the codes, make sure it's running good, watch the live data if you can. If you can't, clear your check engine light, give her some juice, brums, and make sure it's sounding good. If everything sounds good and running good, put your fender liner back in, get everything put back together, cleaned up, nice, right, tight, and you're good. You possibly saved yourself thousands of dollars. I'm telling you folks, most of the time, it is not the injector on these, especially if it's just one code throwing an imbalance or misfire or miscontribution. Nah, I would be willing to say 85-90% of the time on these, it is not the injector itself. Most of the time when there's one bad injector, there's multiple bad injectors, or if it's throwing injector codes, it's probably the CP4 that's not a CP4 that they call HP4 that's made by Denso. It's worse than CP4. Anyways, yeah, you don't want that. But if it's just one injector imbalance or misfire code, 75-80% of the time, it is going to be that pigtail. You can test it if you feel like alming it out and doing all that, find another end of it, blah, blah, blah. Me, I ain't got time for that. I'm just going to replace it because it's cheap, it's easy, I can do it. on the side of the road. You can do it in your driveway. So before you go and spend thousands of dollars for no reason, just try it. Yeah, you might spend 180, 200 bucks and learn how to do an injector pigtail in your driveway. Hey, you're going to need to know how to do it anyway if you have an L5P, because I promise you, they're going to go out no matter what. So if you just replace one for no reason, don't look at it like that. Look at it as, oh, you took a little learning curve, figured out how to do the pigtail. That way, when your pigtail definitely goes out, you'll know how to do it. So, just trying to give you some foresight of owning an L5P. These things have their little kinks and quirks and whatnots. They're super bad about exhaust leaks, super bad about injector pigtails. And I have another common failure point on the L5P, especially if yours is running all over the country, running hot shot. You take it to Joe's oil change, 2 second, and Tommy Joe forgets to put the KY jellies on the O-ring, and Billy Mac decides to put an impact on it and turns an octagon into a nundagon. Yeah, that thing ain't got a square edge on it nowhere. I've done tried to put pipe wrench, strap wrench, band wrench, circus wrench. I've done tried all the wrench, and it will not come loose. So I'm about to go ahead and pull the pump out, put it in the vise, pop it loose, put this nice $50 Amazon billet upgraded filter cap in. You strip that, we're going to be having some issues. They do come with filters on Amazon, but this is a little no-name filter. I'm not that guy. I'm running OE filters because they got the microns down to a science for their fuel filters for their trucks. So I'd rather spend the extra $11.22. Just go get me an AC Delco. That way I can confirm it's right. There's no restriction. That's the issue with a lot of aftermarket, no-name brand, or cheaper filters. They don't have the right microns. So when your fuel's going through it, it's a lot tighter and causes restriction. You get restriction in your fuel, you're going to have a lot more issues than an injector pigtail or a stripped out nundagon. Trust me. If you're not running a Fast or Air Dog or another good aftermarket lift pump, use factory filters. People, come on.